Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb and welcome to Not Symbolic Password. This is the way the module looks. It looks very similar to normal symbolic password. However, the catch with this is that as you saw in just the beginning of the module sort of does a little like almost like a Caesar cycle sort of deal where it just kind of randomizes essentially. Um, I mean, not necessarily Caesar cycle, but it essentially does a little bit of a cycle sequence at the beginning of the bomb, and as you can see, we are set to a random position. Now, the way that you can tell not symbolic password from symbolic password is normally if you would click these arrows, for example, what would happen here is this one would have the backwards Charlie and the filled-in star swap essentially. However, what happens here is they give us completely different symbols each and every time. And that is going to be the real kicker here. Because what you are in is you are in this giant grid here. Now, this might look intimidating, and it's not that bad, trust me. So just do not be concerned, and I will get you through this thing as safely as possible. This module, what you need to do is you need to find a position in this grid here that matches a 3x2 position in the grid below. Successfully doing so will disarm the module. So, the catch with this is that each cell, each individual little corner, each of these individual little spots, is randomly placed within the grid here at some point. It's one specific cell, and each time you move an arrow, it will move one for each of those relevant cells in that direction. If you happen to click these right and left arrows, that will move all three of these together to the right one space, left likewise. And as you can see, we do actually get back to the exact same position if we happen to do the exact opposite. It's very important that you keep that in mind. There is a starting position, however, the starting position itself is not relevant. All you simply need to do is find out where you currently are. Though it is well advised that you keep track of where you are exactly, because it actually might be easier to do it from the initial state of the module. But that's essentially how the way the module works. These arrows on the up and down only interact with the column that it represents. The rows represent the rows, obviously. So that's what we're going to do. And what we want to do is we want to focus on each individual cell, and we want to try and figure out where each of them are, actually. So what I generally like to do is I generally like to go up. I generally like to go up 3 individual spaces, or pressing it 2 times, while noting down the symbols that we've passed by. If you want to be a little bit more, if you want to help be a little bit more specific, you can obviously go up 4 or 5, however many symbols you need to figure out where you are currently in the grid. But what we want to do is we want to look at each individual position and figure out where we are in this grid. So let's start off. So this first symbol, we start with a backwards Charlie, a filled-in star, and an echo, a backwards echo, sort of, like a face. So, and these are all going to be based off of the symbols from symbolic password. There's going to be no differences here. They will be the exact same. However, this grid is significantly bigger, as you can tell. So what we want to do is we want to look for these 3 symbols as if they were proceeding up. So we had backwards Charlie, filled-in star, and a backwards echo. Now you obviously can scanline. But I actually can see this immediately. It was actually pure coincidence that I actually saw this. But essentially, what we're in is we're in this position. And as you can see, if we focus on this backwards Charlie and we go up once, we get to the filled-in star. And if we go up once again, we get to the echo. And if we go up once again, just to make sure, we get this sort of wizard staff. And just like that, this matches the exact position of which we're at. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this back to the initial pattern here. I'm going to set this back to the initial position. And I like to do this in reading order, just so I can use the highlighter colors in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And by the way, if you want to change the highlighter colors, in case you don't know, you're going to want to hit Alt, and then the number that's changed the color. So in this case, it will always default to blue, which is Alt 1. Then we have red for Alt 2, green for Alt 3, yellow for Alt 4, magenta is 5, and orange is going to be 6. And that's going to be the way these colors look. And I'm going to be doing this in reading order. So let's take a look at our next one here. But this is our position of the first one in the top left. So we have Papa, wizard staff, and upside down question mark for this one. So we have highlight this in red. So we have Papa, wizard staff, and upside down question mark. Let's try and find that. Papa, wizard staff. That's a tennis racket. Not what we're looking for. Papa, wizard staff, and one important thing that's actually really important to note down is the fact that this grid can loop around. So that's very important that you have to consider that as well. So if you have a Papa like right here, and just like that, Papa, wizard staff, and upside down question mark does indeed follow this pattern. And just like that, we're on the edge of the grid. went up and it goes all the way around. So this actually does loop around. Very important to note. So this is going to be the starting position of the second position here, in this case, the pop. Let's find our third position. So we've got 6 back-to-back Ks and a tennis racket. So we've got 6 back-to-back Ks and a tennis racket. 6 back-to-back Ks, tennis racket right here. Okay. Let's set that back to the 6. Now let's take a look at the bottom left, which in this case is going to be yellow. We've got filled-in star. We've got the backwards November or hotel, whatever it is. I keep forgetting what this one is called, and the pitchfork. So we started off with the filled-in star. Shouldn't be too hard to find, and just like that, right here, we got the filled-in star, the backwards November, or hotel, whatever it is, and the pitchfork, and just like that, it follows that up pattern. So that's perfect. Okay. Number 5. We've got smiley face, we've got the back-to-back Ks, and we've got upside down question mark. Smiley face, back-to-back Ks. There you are. Smiley face, back-to-back Ks. Any on the top, perhaps, or any on the smiley face, back-to-back Ks, and upside down question mark. We're right here with this one. As you can see, smiley face, back-to-back Ks, down all the way to the bottom, which in this case is the upside down question mark, setting it back to its original position. And then finally, for our last one here, is going to be the lightning bolt, forward Charlie, and the backwards hotel November. So we've got lightning bolt, forward Charlie, weird hotel November. I'm gonna call it the November for now. Backwards November. Lightning bolt, forward Charlie. This is an interesting one for sure. Just a moment. I can figure out where this bloody thing is. Now we do the wonderful thing called scanlining. Thunderbolt. I'm not seeing it anywhere. Oh, here we go. Thunderbolt, forward Charlie, and then the hotel, and then November, rather. Okay, and now what we have found here is we have found all of our positions of which these are all starting at. We have the first one being the backwards Charlie, the second being the Papa, marked in red, the green being the 6th, the 3rd, the yellow being the filled-in star down here, the 5th being the smiley face, and finally the last being the lightning bolt. So now, what we need to do is we need to find a way to shift all of these guys together so that all of these positions are going to form a 3x2 that is actually present in the grid here. So this might seem a little bit intimidating, but trust me, let's not overthink this. So let's try and figure out what we want to do with this thing, and let's see if we can actually figure out some way to do this. Maybe perhaps we can do it as sort of like a central point, like maybe we can do like down here or something like this, perhaps. Some kind of central point that would work. All of these guys are relatively spread out, and this is actually quite an unlucky case to get. Obviously, it can be a lot worse, but it is a bit tricky to work with. So let's see what we can do here. So one of the things that I'm immediately realizing is that we have a bit of an interesting case where the Charlie, the 6, and the Papa are all completely on the same row, which does actually make it a little bit tricky to say if they were on the like to make them 1, 2, and 3. So there actually might be a couple mix-ups here. All that matters is that we get a 3x2 position that actually works. The first position doesn't necessarily need to be in the top left position. All it needs to do is essentially works. It's a do note that while the display may show a pattern that occurs in the table below, it's only valid submission if the current location of each cell forms a 3x2 grid. For example, a correct submission would still be correct if you were to shift both rows to the right once. So that's what we have to take a look for. So maybe let's start shifting both the purple and the blue and the yellow up, because they're both 1 and 4. Let's shift both of these guys up, sort of to the general same row, and let's see what we can do from that point on. So let's do that. So let's go up 1. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now that's going to take us, the number 1 here, up to this echo, and this is going to take us, the yellow, up to the puzzle piece right here. Now, one of the things that we can immediately do is actually, I can already see a big solution here. And this is actually going to help us a lot. One of the things that I can already see here is if we take a look, red is 2 and magenta is 5. And both of these are going to be corresponding to the middle row here. And what we can actually do is, if you can start to see things come together, what we can do is we can shift both of these guys down to their respective positions. Down, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, getting us to the omega, and down to the tennis racket here. And now what we can do is, if you haven't seen it already, we can shift this row, in this case being the puzzle piece, the tennis racket, and the lightning bolt, to the right, where it is going to be directly below the echo, the omega, and the 6. 3, 4, 5. And just like that, as you can see, if we take a look here, so it's going to be 4 for you, 5 for you, and 6 for the lightning bolt. And just like that, as you can see, we have now formed our 3x2 grid that we need to form. Each of these positions are in a 3x2 grid. Each of them are represented by each of these symbols on the display. And this is the correct position. It's not like this Charlie over here or something like that, this backwards Charlie. It has to be in these exact positions. So now we're going to hit submit. And as you can see, the symbols will start freaking out and the zeros will come up. This means this is a correct module. So that is exactly what we need to do with this module. Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully you were able to see things start to come together. But that's essentially all you need to do, is you need to just start piecing things together. And that's why it's a bit important to start from the original starting position, because it actually does make things a lot easier. As you can see, I was able to piece that actually together really quick here. So let's take a look at one final example. This module does take a little bit of time, obviously, to find the positions in this large grid, but the work itself, but actually getting to the destination, is not that bad. It's really not that bad at all. So let's take a look at one last example here. And that actually was quite satisfying to watch it go together like that. So let's take a look here. Let's see what we get. And sometimes, honestly, sometimes you will get pieces that are just like already put together and they're already like really close to each other. So that will be a bit obvious. That one was a little bit tricky to do, but it wasn't that hard to spot. So let's take a look. So we've got the Kitty, 6, and Hotel Yankee for the first one here. So we've got Kitty, 6, Hotel Yankee, heading up, remember? Kitty, 6, Hotel Yankee. Yep, I'm glad I spotted that. Okay, first one right here. Move it on down. Number 2, upside down question mark, lambda, and forward Charlie. So upside down question mark, lambda, forward Charlie, rather. Let's take a look here. Upside down question mark. No, it's not puzzle piece. It's lambda, forward Charlie. Go on the side here, maybe. Upside down question mark, lambda, forward Charlie. It should take me back to a backwards Charlie. It does indeed. Yep. Okay, that's going to be our second one right there. Number 3, backwards Charlie, 6, and the copyright symbol. This one should be easy to spot. So backwards Charlie, 6, and then the copyright symbol. There's not many. Yep, just like that. I already found it down here in the bottom left. 6, copyright, indeed. And just to make sure, it does take me to a forward Charlie afterwards. Yes, it does. Okay, these are going to be in the corners. These are really interesting then. Okay, for yellow, we have Pitchfork, Hotel Yankee, and Omega. Pitchfork, Hotel Yankee, Omega, Pitchfork, Pitchfork, Hotel Yankee. Pitchfork. Where are you at? It's being a little bit tricky to find, I will say. Pitchfork, Hotel Yankee, Omega, got it right here. This will be right here. As you can see, we go up to the Hotel Yankee, we go down, we go up, wrapping around to the Omega, and just like that, that is our position right there. Okay? Number 5, Tango Bravo, 6, and Hotel Yankee. Tango Bravo 6 and Hotel Yankee. Let's find that one. Hopefully this one shouldn't be too hard to find. I say that with heavy quotation marks. Tango Bravo 6, Hotel Yankee, indeed. That's nice and easy. And finally, for our last one, in this case being orange, copyright the tennis racket and the puzzle piece. Copyright tennis racket puzzle piece. That one shouldn't be too bad. Copyright tennis racket. Nope, that's not it. We need puzzle piece. Copyright. Do we have any copyrights at the top, perhaps? Nope, doesn't seem like it. Copyright. Nope. Rackets. Yep. Ooh. Okay, this is very interesting. We did start on the backwards try for green. Yep, we did. Okay. Copyright tennis racket. There must be something I'm missing here. I'm gonna start scanning now. Ooh, here we go. Yep, right there. Yep, copyright. I must have just overlooked this. Copyright tennis racket puzzle piece. And just like that, we have found all of our positions. So let's set it back down to original position. Okay. Now, let's take a look and let's see what we can do here. Well, immediately one of the things I'm recognizing is 1, 2, and 3 are also completely different. But they are, if we take a look, if they are indeed actually really close to each other with regards to 1, 2, and 3. They are indeed, if we take a look at the columns, if we go to the right, 1, we're currently starting at 1. Going to the right would be 2. Going to the right would be 3. So already these 3 are already going to be attached in some way, shape, or form. So if we were to go to the left, all we would simply get is a better picture of what we're looking at here. So another thing that we can do is I can already see a way that we can piece these 3 together down at the bottom too. And from what I'm understanding here, I take back what I said. It actually has to be in the exact positions. It just is much easier to do it that way. But it has to be in the exact positions, in this case being this is the top left, this is the top middle, this is the top right. My apologies if I misled on that example. But in this case, it's pretty easy to spot anyways. So one of the things that we can potentially do here is we can go up in the first column, in this case with the blue and the yellow. We can go up 5, I want to say. It's going to be 5, yes. So let's go up 5. And we're going to want to end at the hotel for this for the yellow one, and we're going to want to end at the kitty for this one. So we're going to do from kitty to kitty. So let's do that. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and now we're at this position here. So let's mark these guys. Now next up, let's take a look. We want to go up the exact same amount. Let's go to the left once just to make sure that we clear this up. So let's go left once for each of these guys at the top row. Here, here. And we're going to move you down here just to make it easier just as a visual perspective. And as you can see now, all we simply need to do is we simply need to move the third column up a series of numbers, which in this case would be 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now this is going to be the pop-up for 6, and this is going to be the question mark for green. Now all we need to do at this point is we simply need to just move the bottom row under the top row. Which is going to be represented by Snake 3, 6, and the Echo. And as you can see, we are now at the correct position that we need to be. 4 is right here, 5 is right here, 6 is right here, and just like that is a solved module. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.